Obesity in aging is not simply the result of excess caloric intake and reduced activity. It increasingly reflects a deeper disruption of cellular maintenance processes. One of the most critical of these is autophagy, the system by which cells break down and recycle damaged components, including defective mitochondria, misfolded proteins, and excess lipid droplets. With age, autophagic flux declines in key metabolic tissues such as the liver, adipose tissue, and skeletal muscle. This decline promotes fat accumulation, insulin resistance, and systemic inflammation, hallmarks of late-life obesity. Long-term supplementation with nicotinamide mononucleotide, NMN, a precursor to NAD+, has emerged as a promising strategy to restore autophagic function and slow, or even reverse, obesity progression linked to aging. By reactivating sirtuin and EMPK signaling pathways through NAD+ replenishment, NMN offers a metabolic reset that can gradually rewire tissue metabolism toward health and resilience. Over time, aging leads to chronic NAD+ depletion, reducing the activity of enzymes such as SIRT1 and SIRT3, which are essential for maintaining mitochondrial quality and metabolic balance. Without sufficient NAD+, the cell's ability to respond to stress or nutrient fluctuations is impaired. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. Reduced NAD+ leads to impaired autophagy, which in turn leads to accumulation of dysfunctional organelles and metabolic inefficiency, promoting further fat gain and inflammation. NMN interrupts this cycle by restoring intracellular NAD+ pools, particularly in metabolically compromised tissues. This restoration reactivates key longevity pathways, including SIRT1, mediated deacetylation of autophagy-related proteins, and FOXO transcription factors that upregulate autophagic machinery. In liver tissue, where autophagy normally regulates lipid turnover and prevents steatosis, long-term NMN supplementation has been shown in aged animal models to reduce triglyceride accumulation, normalize lipid droplet size, and lower hepatic inflammation. These effects are attributed to increased mitophagy and lipophagy, subtypes of autophagy that specifically target damaged mitochondria and lipid structures for degradation. As mitochondrial function improves and lipid processing is restored, hepatic insulin sensitivity also increases, breaking another link in the metabolic dysfunction chain that leads to obesity. In long-duration studies, aged mice on NMN show reduced liver fat, lower ALT/AST markers, and improved glucose handling, indicators that the reversal of autophagy impairment translates into tangible metabolic gains. In white adipose tissue, where autophagy plays a nuanced role in both fat storage and remodeling, NMN's long-term effects include enhanced mitochondrial biogenesis, increased fatty acid oxidation, and reduced adipocyte hypertrophy. Aged fat typically shifts toward inflammation, fibrosis, and insulin resistance, particularly in visceral depots. NMN reintroduces dynamic turnover by activating autophagy in mature adipocytes, leading to more efficient lipid mobilization and decreased pro-inflammatory cytokine production. Over time, this improves adipose plasticity and endocrine function. Aged mice treated with NMN for extended periods show smaller, more metabolically active adipocytes, with higher expression of adiponectin and UCP1, markers associated with improved fat oxidation and thermogenesis. Skeletal muscle, which normally accounts for a major portion of energy expenditure, also benefits from NMN's long-term autophagy restoration. As muscle ages, it accumulates dysfunctional mitochondria, leading to reduced metabolic capacity and insulin resistance. NMN-induced autophagy, particularly mitophagy, helps clear these damaged structures, improve energy utilization, and maintain muscle mass. In studies lasting several months, NMN supplementation in older rodents not only improves glucose uptake in skeletal muscle, but also preserves mitochondrial density and oxidative capacity, key defenses against sarcopenic obesity. These outcomes are further linked to better endurance and physical activity, both of which help control fat mass indirectly. One of the most promising aspects of NMN is that its metabolic benefits tend to accumulate over time. Unlike short-term interventions, long-term NMN use appears to create a progressively more stable and efficient metabolic environment, which resists the degenerative trajectory typical of aging. This cumulative effect arises because autophagy is not a one-time event, but a continuous housekeeping process. With sustained NMN supplementation, cells maintain a more youthful capacity for turnover, renewal, and metabolic adaptation. In turn, The entire organism shows reduced visceral adiposity, lower inflammatory burden, and improved insulin sensitivity, traits that collectively characterize metabolic youth. While most data so far come from preclinical models, the first human trials of NMN show favorable effects on insulin sensitivity, muscle oxygen utilization, and inflammatory profiles, even over relatively short durations. These results suggest that long-term use could extend these benefits, particularly in older individuals with early metabolic dysfunction or preobesity. The fact that NMN can mimic many of the metabolic effects of caloric restriction without reducing food intake also makes it an attractive candidate for aging populations who may not tolerate aggressive dietary interventions. In conclusion, long-term NMN supplementation represents a promising therapeutic strategy for reversing autophagy-related metabolic deterioration in aging. By restoring the cellular ability to recycle and renew, NMN targets one of the most fundamental drivers of age-related obesity. Its effects span major tissues, liver, muscle, and adipose, reinvigorating each through enhanced mitochondrial quality, improved lipid metabolism, and reduced inflammation. The result is a coordinated rebalancing of energy metabolism that not only slows fat accumulation but also promotes systemic metabolic health. If future clinical trials confirm these benefits in humans, NMN could become a cornerstone in the fight against obesity and metabolic dysfunction in the aging population.